This year I'm entering Sky Art's Landscape Artist of the Year. There are now 20 days left until the deadline. I'm going through a bit of a busy period, so I'm just grabbing 10 minutes today to paint a little bit more of the horse in landscape painting. I've currently got 2 paintings on the go. I've also got a cityscape, but I'll come back to that in the near future. So today it's going to be about the horse. And this time I've got the same titanium white and burnt umber, but I've got some alizarin crimson, French ultramarine blue and cadmium yellow light. So I'm going to set the timer going. So I'm going to give myself, ever so slightly over 10 minutes. Got my water spray bottle handy if I need it. And we're going to work on the sky today. So I'm going to begin by basically just blocking in the sky. So I'm mixing up a good amount of the titanium white and some of the ultramarine blue. Okay, and then I'm going to take the water spray bottle and give that a quick spritz. And I've got my 1-inch flat synthetic brush, and I'm basically going to pop that over the sky. Now that's going on a little bit thicker than I thought it was going to, have to admit. But that's going to be okay. So some of the burnt umber that I put on yesterday, that's going to show through, and that's okay. It's kind of what I intended. I actually thought it was going to show through a little bit more than what I'm doing, but that's, as I said, that's all right. So I'm going to add some more white to the mix as we move down the page. Quick spritz with the water again, and we'll block that in. Now, because we've got a cloudy, multiple coloured sky here, that's one of the reasons I'm using a reasonably small brush, because the sky is quite textured, I guess, for want of a better word. So I can kind of scumble this colour across the paper, and that's going to kind of automatically begin to, you can see where the brown's showing through, where I haven't quite covered things. I'm starting to create some texture automatically. Now, as we get down to the horizon, I want a lot more of the titanium white, and I'm going to put just a touch of the burnt umber in there, and then pick up a little bit of that blue, a little bit more perhaps. There we go, and then we'll pop that more neutral colour nearer the horizon. It's still not quite as light as I had hoped, and I'm running out of white on the palette, but I've picked up a lot more white on my brush from what's left on the palette, and we'll kind of move that around. So really what I'm aiming to do here is, as you probably guessed, this first stage is simply get rid of all of the uncoated paper in the sky. Alright, so having done that, I just need to reload my titanium white. So, whoops, apologies if I'm not on screen at the moment. And okay, so I've got some more white on my palette now. So now I need to mix up some of these cloud colours. So, ultramarine blue. Haven't washed my brush out. Sorry. Let's get that on camera for you. So ultramarine blue, I haven't washed my brush out, so there's a little bit of white in there that I'm mixing in as well. I'm going to take a little touch of the alizarin crimson. Oops, a little touch more. And perhaps just a little touch more even. Okay, a quick spritz with the water bottle. And let's see how that looks when we put it on at the top of the painting for the clouds. So it's not too bad. It's perhaps a little dark. So I'm going to mix that in now with one of the lighter colours and really have some fun kind of moving this around on the paper. So I'm looking at my reference and picking out the approximate shapes of the cloud. And you can see if I put my brush down like this, it's going to give me little bursts of white. If I use the tips of the brush, less so. And if I mix into the wet paint I put down earlier, then I'm going to get some automatic blending of colour. And that works, that can work really well for clouds, certainly of the type that we're depicting at the moment. Now I want to add just a touch of the alizarin in there. Not too dark though, so I'm mixing it in with the pale blue I had before, and I'm just going to feather some of that across the edge, some of the blue I've got there. Perhaps a little bit over here as well. Okay, so we've got just under 5 minutes left. So the next two things I want to do in those 4 minutes or so are just going to clean my brush off with a paper towel. Quick rinse in the water bottle and then wipe it off again so that it's going to be reasonably clean. I want to get just some little bursts of lighter colour in there, so I'm picking up some pure titanium white and just mixing that on the palette. I'm going to spray the surface of the painting with water, because these are the interactive, so that's going to help my blending. And I'm just going to try and blend some of this white fairly gently to pick out some highlights in these clouds. Now, spraying the sky with water, certainly the way I did it has left little droplet marks on the sky, but I don't mind that. I think it's quite in keeping with what goes on Dartmoor. And then there's a little burst of pure blue peeking through the clouds that I want to include as well. Now, I'm just going to wipe off the brush again, get it reasonably clean. Now, to be honest, this blue is probably closer to Silurian blue or Thalassinine blue, but for now, at least, I'm just going to stick with the pure ultramarine mixed in with some white, and we'll see how that works for now. And then, we can obviously add some of the other blues at the later stage in the painting if we want to. So it's not too bad. And perhaps add a couple of touches over here on the left as well. So the sky's certainly not finished, but you can see it's starting to take shape. What actually, while I've got that, oh, okay, so that's my time up. So we've started to introduce some of the cooler colors and some of the texture into the sky, and that's pretty much it for today.